We have another snowstorm moving into the central and eastern thirds of the United States, and this storm could be bringing a decent amount of snowfall to many areas that have just seen some snow, as well as many areas that haven't seen a lot so far this winter. So let's take a look here at the bigger picture for this storm. Starting out here with a low pressure ejecting into the central plains, you have a small shield of snowfall with this system, but as it gets into the central U.S. and the Great Lakes region, we will see some banding start to play a big role in this storm before it slides into the mid-Atlantic and the Northeast, bringing some decent snowfall rates there as well. This area does have the benefit of the storm coming at night, so those temperatures will be just a tad colder. So this storm starts to roll out, another section of the storm off to the south. But taking a look at your timing again, in the Central Plains, this is your early morning hours of Friday. As the low pressure starts to move into the Great Lakes region midday Friday, you start to see that banding set up from Missouri into Ohio. And overnight, you see the Mid-Atlantic and the Northeast get into some of those snowfall rates. Could be seeing some winters here in the Northeast, upwards of 6 inches. Let's zoom into the Northeast here. We have our Clipper system from Thursday moving out of the region, bringing in those strong northwesterly winds, allowing for some colder air to spill in for this wide swath of snow from the New York and Pennsylvania border all the way down into Virginia. And as this storm system continues to move through, we could be seeing a stationary band in Pennsylvania on the northern end of this system and some really heavy snow rates in Virginia and DC. But one of the things that's really going to play out here, and we'll talk about this more just in a second, is the further north you are, obviously those temperatures are going to be colder, but that also affects the density of the snow. So just a little bit of actual liquid will actually bring up a lot of snow up here, since those snow to liquid ratios will be a lot higher than near DC, where you could be seeing more of that wet heavy snow, whereas there will be some more powder in portions of Pennsylvania. So here are those temperatures as we see our Clipper moves out and 20s move into much of the region, warming up slightly, even though DC could be getting up towards 40, 50 degrees on Friday before this storm comes in. And after the storm comes in, another round of very strong wind gusts and just wind speeds in general, dropping those temperatures yet again. But overnight, when the storm is moving through, looking like 20s for much of Pennsylvania and New Jersey, 30s for much of Virginia, Maryland, even portions of West Virginia outside of those elevations that could be seeing some snow as well. So what do I think for this storm system? I'm thinking that many of those areas in the Great Lakes and the Midwest, that banding is really going to come into play. That could bring some of these areas into that 3 to 6 inch range with that accumulating snowfall, even though wet and heavy snow going to be accumulating on the roads, causing a pretty hectic midday for all of you out here in these areas in dark blue in the Great Lakes region. As we move off to the east here, you have a small area of 6 to 12, mostly going to be elevation based with this one, as you have the ridges of the Appalachians moving through these areas. Other areas that could be picking up plenty of snow is portions of Pennsylvania. Could be seeing that 3 to 6 extending pretty far north in those areas. As we get towards our bigger cities here, you're going to be seeing a lot less snowfall. DC, I have you in that 2 to 3 inch range. A pretty decent snowstorm for this year. DC has gotten screwed on a lot of these recent snowstorms, especially with that most recent snowstorm that dropped up to a foot of snow in some spots in the Northeast Monday night into Tuesday morning. And as we go up towards Philadelphia, could be seeing maybe 3 to 6 inches. I wouldn't rule out something lower than that, though, just based on that city hot spot. New York City, right on the edge here. I would probably say about a coating is likely there. But if you get anywhere northeast of that, southern New England is still at play for some snow here. But I would say that it's a lot more unlikely compared to many of these other areas of the mid-Atlantic. So another snowstorm for February, and now we have to wait just a tad for another impactful snowstorm for the East Coast. Still watching something for later next week, maybe Friday, Saturday time frame, before we get into looking like a lot more spring into early March. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, consider leaving a like, commenting, and subscribing, and I'll see you guys again very soon. Have a great day.